Good evening, and welcome to Kingsburg High School Senior Information Night. A very special welcome to the class of 2021, and of course to all new and returning Kingsburg High School parents. My name is Mrs. Apgar, and I'm the Junior Senior Counselor, and I'm here with Mrs. Peterson, our College and Career Center teacher. I've been at Kingsburg High School for more than 21 years in our counseling department, and Mrs. Peterson has been at Kingsburg High School for more than 7 years, helping students with their post-secondary planning. I'm very, very excited about this school year because this will be my very first senior class. And then I also have a senior in the home, so everything that you are doing, my senior is doing as well. A little information about how to contact either Mrs. Peterson or how to contact me. You'll see, the information right by our cute little Bitmoji people here. You can simply email us. That's very easy, just like you've done, all these years. You can also dial the high school office number and leave me a voicemail at extension 2004. And then I can also attempt Google Meets by request. I'd love to practice with some students or parents. Mrs. Peterson, same thing. Email works great. And she's also having a Zoom office hour, and that's taking place Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock to 3:30. The only time that's not going to work very well is if she's hosting a workshop for students. A little bit about what we do for seniors and how we work together. Counseling and the College and Career Center, we've worked together, we work together every single year, our freshman, sophomore, and junior years. But it's the senior year that we work extraordinarily closely. My focus, as the counselor is on graduation. It is my desire, my intent to try to make sure that every senior who wants a diploma is able to earn one. The second area that I focus on is college entry requirements, trying to make sure students are in the right classes to qualify for different universities if they desire. And then the third area would be any type of counselor input. That could be a counselor report that is needed for a student's application. In some cases, there might be a counselor letter or a teacher letter, so I can help in that area. And then the fourth, of course, is the social emotional support that's been ongoing, since the freshman year. Mrs. Peterson, she works with the post-secondary planning. And that means that whatever the student's desire is, whether it is to begin at a 2-year school, maybe it's to go directly to a 4-year school. It could be to enroll in a career tech or vocational program, join the military, perhaps go directly to work. Whatever it is that student desires to do, she's there to help them finalize their plan and then help them plan for it, to put into place the steps that are needed so that plan becomes a reality after graduation. This is a little bit about some of the items that we would like to speak about this evening. Some of the senior expectations, costs for families so they can start planning. We always review graduation requirements, of course, our college entry requirements. We'll be talking about applying different types of applications and what students have to do, financial aid. Our traditional senior information book is available to everyone. Parents and students can access it online at kingsburghigh.com. If you would prefer a hard copy, we have hard copies available in our office. All students or parents have to do is go to the attendance window and just ask, for a senior information book.
Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about senior guidelines and costs. So you'll see two boxes in front of you. The box on the left-hand side is geared towards the seniors in our audience this evening. And then, of course, the box on the right-hand side is more for the parents. Anytime money comes up, that's for the parents and our families. So seniors, all seniors within the audience tonight, within your student information book are some gentle reminders that we took directly from the Student Parent Handbook that gets published every year. This is very important information regarding graduation and senior week activities. Mrs. Peterson and I want to see every senior in June celebrating with the class, so we believe it's important that you do review this page. If you have any type of question or concern, we invite you to reach out to our administration. Now, the portion underneath senior expectations about email is from us. And seniors, we wanted to say that it's very, very important that you get into the habit of checking your email every single week. Not every month, not twice a month, but every single week, especially as the college application season begins. Colleges, special programs, possibly recruiters, possibly future employers. The way that they will communicate with you is through email. This is also the way that I will be communicating with you and Mrs. Peterson. So again, please get into that habit now of checking that email every single week. Okay, we're going to move to the box on the right, the one that's more specific to the parents or the families, and we're going to address some of the costs for senior year. We're going to go on to the next slide to help us look more carefully at what some of those costs are.
Just know that these costs are approximate, and I would say that they're minimum. So if you're looking on the left-hand side here, you'll see things like caps and gowns and graduation packages, which those items are going to go on sale pretty soon. I checked with Mrs. Lund. She said they will probably be online September 29th and 30th, so you will want to be checking at that time. Prom, that's later, grad night is later, but you can at least see the approximate amount of money that these things cost. And just know that even though it says $150 to go to the prom, that doesn't include a dress or flowers or a tux rental. So again, these are very minimum costs. At least parents get to know ahead of time so that you can plan with your senior ahead of time. On the right-hand side, you will see information about advanced placement testing. These tests are run every school year at the end of the year in May. A letter recently went out to families. Any student who is enrolled in an advanced placement class should have received a letter. If by chance you did not receive a letter, please speak with your AP teacher. This year's cost is $86 per test, and it is payable either all at once, and some people do that. They'll pay for, maybe the student has two tests or two classes, 1, 3, 4, whatever it is, and they'll just make one huge payment. Other students, it is better for them to pay in 2 installments. The first installment is $40, and it's due by November 1st. That when I say $40, that means $40 per test. The final payment will be due by April 1st. Again, that's per test. We do have fee waivers available, and fee waivers are based on income levels. So if you're thinking that you might qualify for a fee waiver, then I think it would be a great idea to contact our bookkeeper, Mrs. Lund, in the office, and she can discuss with you about what you need to do to see if you qualify. Finally, we have college application fees, which we've had many students a little surprised about this, but every time you apply to a college or university, you do have to pay an application fee, and fees vary. They could be anywhere from $50 to $75 per application. Anyone who's going to be starting at the community college, there is no fee for that program. Okay, a little bit on our graduation requirements at this time. Again, we review these every year with our families, and so this will be the final review of the graduation requirements. Students have to do 2 things to graduate from Kingsburg High School. They have to earn at least 230 credits. And the second thing they have to do is pass all required subjects. These subjects include 4 years of English, 3 years of math. One of the years, or 10 credits, has to be from Math 1 or Math 1B. 1 year of a physical science. This is usually done the freshman year with Ag Earth Science or Earth Science. 1 year of a life science, which is usually done during the sophomore year with Ag Biology, Biology, or Honors Biology. Health is taken the freshman year. Sophomores take World History. Juniors take U.S. History. And our seniors take Civics and Economics courses, 1 semester each. Students have to pass at least 1 visual or performing art class, and they have several choices. The choices include art, ceramics, band, choir, stagecraft, and drama. Students have to earn at least 20 credits of PE, and they can do this in several different ways. They can go out for sports, marching band, cheer, color guard. They can also take a regular PE class like early bird PE, co-ed PE, or a class called AC, which our students know as athletic conditioning. And then finally, at the very bottom, students have to take and pass at least 7 electives. And electives are always by student choice. Recently, our senior families, should have received a status letter in the mail. Within that letter was a transcript and a graduation status report. Our counseling performs 2 official senior checks a year, at least 2 official ones. Some students get more than 2, but everybody gets 2. And the check is on the student's transcript. We go through very, very carefully to make sure that that student is on track for graduation. The first check takes place in the fall, 2 weeks after school starts. The second check takes place in January, and that is 5 days after the beginning of the second semester. Now, in normal years, non-COVID years, the counselor goes to the civics and economics classes, gives a little mini presentation, and hands that transcript and graduation status report directly to the student. But, this year I was unable to do that, and that is why I sent it directly to every single parent. Instead of an in-person type presentation, I had to do a little slide presentation and send it to the teachers, and they showed it to their students. Now, any senior who is in need of additional credits to reach graduation, inside their letter was also a contract for a program called Concurrent. Concurrent takes place after school hours. This is nothing new. We run a concurrent program at every single school year, for our seniors, again, who need credits. The platform for the concurrent program is the Edgenuity program, and that's the online program that students can do in order to earn credits. If you are a student and you were in summer school last summer, then you are familiar with our Edgenuity program. Or maybe you're a senior who at one time was enrolled in our independent study program, then you are aware of our Edgenuity program. Our program will actually start September 21st with an information meeting, and the real start date when students can start the curriculum and their course is September 22nd. But they can only start if they return that contract. The teacher of record for the concurrent program will be Mrs. Peterson, the same one who is presenting with me tonight. That student can return it directly to her. They can email it to her. They can bring it to our office attendance window and give it to me, and I can give it to her, whichever is easier. But we do need to have the contract, and we do need to have a parent signature on it as well as a student signature. At the bottom of this screen, I'm going to give a little plug to our tutorial support that is available to all students. We just started our Zoom tutorials last week. We run them 4 days a week. Teachers are the ones running them. The subjects that are covered at this time are English, math, and science. And if you look underneath that, the M stands for Monday. So science is offered on Mondays. Tuesdays is math. Wednesdays is English and science that's offered. And then Thursdays is math. If there's a senior here who would like to get in on this, but you're not sure how to do so, please check in with your teacher and they can explain how to do the Zoom tutorials. All right, we're now going to review our college entry requirements, and this is the same list that we also review at every single parent night with our students and their families. These are referred to as A to G requirements. They are minimum entry requirements for entry to a California State University or a University of California school. These are both big public groups of universities in the state of California. Students who are choosing to go out of state, the requirements are likely to be very similar to these. However, there could be something that's different. So you will want to make sure to check in with Mrs. Peterson about that, and she can help you research that. All right, here's what students need to do to qualify for a 4-year school. They need to take and pass 4 years of college preparatory English. Most of our students take care of this by taking English 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just know we do have advanced placement options, AP options for juniors and seniors. The next requirement minimum is 3 years, again, of that college level math, college prep math. Students may take Math 1A and Math 1B, or they can start in Math 1 directly, and then they have to follow that level with Math 2 and then Math 3. If the student can fit in a 4th year of math, that is highly recommended by both university systems. The third requirement is 2 years of history, social science, and that can be taken care of with the world and U.S. history courses. The fourth line, you will see the science requirement. The minimum is 2 years of science. However, they recommend highly at least 3, and I would say even 4 years. The first science that counts in this area at our school will be a biology class taken the sophomore year. Then the junior year, we advise students to take either chemistry or physics. And then the senior year, they can follow up with whatever is available. It might be a particular AP science class that they are interested in taking, or it could be, anatomy, or it could be, if they took the chemistry, maybe they'll go on to physics, or, vice versa. The next requirement is 2 years of the same foreign language. Again, 3 years is recommended. Finally, we have a year of a visual or performing art, and the choices that I read off are the same ones that apply here. And then at the very end, students have to take at least one college prep elective. This can be additional math, additional science, foreign language, and we have other things. We have additional arts, we have career tech options that are college prep, and other classes as well. So we actually have quite a few that would fit into that last category. At the very bottom, you'll see that there is a grade requirement for these classes. Students have to get the minimum grade that they have to get is a C every single semester in these courses. If they don't get that C grade, if they get a D or an F and they are planning to try for a 4-year university, then they will need to repeat that course for an entire semester or year, wherever they got that D or F. Where they repeat is either in summer school or during the school year in place of their elective. Okay, here's the turkey. If you've been with us before, you've seen this turkey probably many times, and we're using this turkey at several places in our presentation this evening. This page has kind of got a little factoid there, but we want to reiterate, our Kingsburg High School students, our graduates, they go everywhere. I mean, you'll see them in career tech, you'll see them in the military, you'll see them at 4-year universities, public ones, private ones, community colleges. They stay in state, they go out of state. They truly are everywhere. Approximately 95% or 90%, of our students elect to attend a 2 or 4-year college after high school. And then approximately 10% will enter the workforce or join the military. Which brings us to one of our first options for a 2-year college. California community colleges, they are up and down the state of California, so they're everywhere. And we have many, many good choices of public community colleges in our local area. We really do. We've got Fresno City, Reedley, and Clovis Community. Many of our students choosing the community college option will feed into Reedley, but we do have students who who prefer Clovis, maybe Fresno City. We also have some students who prefer to go to Tulare County, and they will attend College of Sequoias, known as COS. And we've even had students going into Kings County to do West Hills. And COS also has a Kings County site in Hanford, a COS site, so just know about that. The great thing about community colleges is there are 2 paths for adult learners. There truly is something for everyone. The one path will be for the student who is planning to get eventually a 4-year degree at a university. So they decide that they're going to attend first that 2-year community college and take care of their GE requirements, known as general education. They'll take courses like English, math, science, social science, and so on. Usually they're getting, I want to say 60 units or about 2 years, and then they will be ready to transfer in as a junior to a 4-year university. The other type of program that adult learners are pursuing at the community college, we call them vocational or career tech programs, CTE programs. And the community college is a wealth of career tech programs. Students can go into these programs. They are shorter term, programs, shorter term educational programs. And as long as they pass their courses, they pass all their certifications, they come out of those programs with employable skills. They can be employed in that particular job, that they got trained for. Some examples, popular examples include police academies, they have fire academies, lots of different levels of nursing, other medical type jobs, including dental hygienist, medical assistant, automotive, mechanics, ag mechanics, cosmetology, and the list goes on and on. Lots of great career tech areas. The other wonderful thing about the community college is there is no application fee. I already mentioned that earlier. No essay, no letter of recommendation, and no admission testing. Well, I'm going to hand over to Mrs. Peterson at this point because she's going to describe a little more about AB 19 and that free tuition that you've probably heard a lot about in the news. And then she's also going to talk about the actual application process, what students have to do to get enrolled at a community college, and what that's going to look like specifically at Kingsburg High School.
Thank you, Mrs. Apgar. Yes, a few more details about community colleges. You may have heard that a couple of years ago, AB 19 passed in California that was intended to enable community colleges to waive first year college tuition costs for all students. Many students were already receiving it free through their Pell Grant or their FAFSA application. However, this law was intended to increase the number of students, but the confusing part about it, if you feel confused by it, welcome to the club, is community colleges are able to choose how they want to apply the money they've been given to this. So most community colleges are choosing to waive first year tuition costs, but sometimes they do it in a slightly different fashion. For example, COS is choosing to reimburse students who take 15 units and pass those courses with a C or better. So I'm not going to get into the weeds too far on this. Just know the key thing you need to know about trying to get the first year of college free for your student and potentially the second year is you need to have them fill out the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that here in step 2. This screen is showing you that there are multiple steps to being ready to attend a community college like Reedley, Fresno City, or Clovis in the fall. We help students with this process each step along the way. So for example, we're going to hold application workshops in the civics and econ classes on October 7th and 8th. So I will Zoom in with a couple of Reedley College representatives to their civics and econ classes, and we will help them complete that application. Keep in mind, by completing a college application for, say, Reedley, that application is also good for Fresno City or Clovis. So students have flexibility on which campus they ultimately decide to attend. Secondly, you're going to want to file a FAFSA or a California DREAM Act application for your student. To distinguish the difference, if you have a Social Security card or your student has a Social Security number, they complete the FAFSA. If they do not, instead of the FAFSA, they would fill out the California DREAM Act application. This opens October 1st. We're going to help you with it if you'd like help later in October, and I'll talk about that date on a different slide. The next step to being ready to attend Reedley, Fresno City, or Clovis in the fall is to complete an online orientation. We will provide that opportunity in civics and econ classes again. This is a super important step to do as soon as possible because priority registration is given to students who complete it as soonest possible after December 1st. Next, we have advising appointments. That date has not been determined yet by Reedley College, the day that they will make college course advising available for our seniors. And lastly, students register themselves for their classes, and we know that window is going to be from April 26th to the 29th, and I provide assistance for students as well because this is a new process for them, and so some help is appropriate. Okay, for those students who are interested in applying to a four-year university, we have two big public systems in the state of California. The first one I'd like to discuss is the California State University system. This is the largest or one of the largest public education systems in the United States. And if you look over here on the left-hand side of the screen, hopefully you can see this little map here. You can see that there are 23 campuses in our big, beautiful state of California. Fresno State, the Fresno State Bulldogs, they are part of this system, the California State University system. For those students of ours who perhaps do not want to stay, in the Fresno area, in our Central Valley, they can go to school down south. There are multiple locations along the coast, including Cal Poly, located in the San Luis Obispo area. There are also locations in Northern California. Everything application-wise for the CSU system is done online, and the application season is upon us. Applications will open October 1st, and applications will close December 4th. The beautiful thing about applying to the CSU system is there is no essay, there are no letters of recommendation that are required, and at this time with COVID, there is no testing. Testing is not going to be used for eligibility decisions. Now, on the other hand, students do have to take care that they have done or finished their A to G classes. There is an application fee of $70. Every year, Mrs. Peterson checks the tuition and school fees so that our families understand, what the costs are. And these fees do vary by campus. Now, what you aren't seeing, however, in those fees is you're not seeing housing costs. So if your student, for example, is going to be attending a CSU out of our local area, they will not be living at home. And so you do have to factor in living costs, which often will be more than those tuition fees. Another system that some of our students apply to is the University of California system. And looking here at this map, you'll see that there are 10 campuses. 9 of them are for undergraduates, and then the other one, the UC San Francisco, would be for graduate programs. These are, again, many of these are big, they're public, and they are well known for their research. Many of them have famous medical schools. Some of them have law schools, business schools. There are even national laboratories that are located on some of these campuses. There are some that can be quite competitive. Just like the CSU system, the application procedure is done online, and that application window will be opening for submitting November 1st, and it closes November 30th. There are no letters of recommendation that are required for the UC system. However, they do require personal insight questions. And when students ask me about these, I like to refer to them as little mini essays. The UC will pose, to students 8 possible questions. Students have to pick 4 and answer those questions in, again, that little mini essay format by writing 350 words. At this time, because of COVID, they have become test optional, meaning they are not requiring an SAT or an ACT. A to G classes must be completed, and there is an application fee of $70 per institution. Tuition you can see is a little bit more than the CSU system, but again, housing is not factored into this. So once you throw housing costs in there, it is going to be a lot more expensive. Now the UC that is in our general area, you can see up here, is UC Merced. Here's the turkey again. Turkey is our reminder that the CSU and the UC application windows are opening. Here are their websites. Again, you have to go and apply online. We are going to have many application workshops. Mrs. Peterson has put those together, and she will be reviewing some of that with you later. For the CSU, the application window opens October 1st, and it closes December 4th. For the UC, the application to submit will be open November 1st, and it closes November 30th. Now you notice we have August 1st here. That's because students can actually begin to work on their applications. They just can't submit. And here is the website where students can go to apply. All deadlines are firm, so keep that in mind, students. Okay, a little bit about independent colleges or private schools. The state of California and beyond, there are many wonderful 2-year or 4-year private institutions. Some of the 2-year are geared more towards career tech or vocational careers. And then the 4-year systems are like, any other 4-year public university. The thing to understand about some of these is they do have sometimes different rules, different ways of doing things. Sometimes even their requirements can be slightly different than the UC and the CSU system. They often have what's called revolving application deadlines, meaning they will take applications at different times throughout the year rather than one set deadline. They also have, various requirements that could be different. Many 4-year private schools request letters of recommendations. They want essays. Many of them also want a school or counselor report. Tuition, college fees, those vary. So, we didn't list anything here because, again, they truly vary. And then, of course, you always have to throw in your living fees on top of school fees. Now, one thing we did want to emphasize is here you see this on the left-hand side, commonapp.org. Many 4-year private schools will utilize this website for their application process. So if your student or if there's a senior here in the audience tonight who is thinking about one of these private schools, definitely go online to Common App and check to see if that's going to be a requirement for you. If it is, you'll want to set up your account right away, and you'll also want to alert counseling, and you'll want to alert Mrs. Peterson and the College and Career Center. Because often there are things that counselors have to submit on behalf of the student who is applying to some of these independent colleges.
The fall is historically college fair season, and of course that's had to go virtual like all things this year. So on our Kingsburg High School College and Career page, we're providing links to virtual college fairs. There's quite a variety of them, and no, it's not the same as talking with people in person, but it is an option for students. And so if you go to the site, you can see what things we've posted, and we will update that as we get invitations to other college fairs. So there are a few miscellaneous other things to consider we'd like to cover. The first would be special programs. So each college or university has programs on their campus to assist a variety of people with special needs. For example, Educational Opportunity Program, that's EOP. That's a program at CSUs and UCs to help first-generation college students begin their college process and succeed while they're there. CAMP is a College Assistance Migrant Program for children whose families are migrant. That's offered at CSUs. And honors programs are offered at just about every college and university. And if you have a strong academic student, we encourage you to help them check out the honors programs. Our community colleges have fantastic honors programs, as do, for example, Fresno State has SMIT Camp. I'm happy to help with the process as they research those. We have a number of athletes here at Kingsburg High School who go on to play their sport in college. We encourage them to stay NCAA and NAIA compliant. There is a process by which students become eligible for those two organizations, and Mrs. Apgar handles all of those details and helps those students. So please reach out to her frequently if you are pursuing sports after high school. Resumes and letters of recommendation, an important step for seniors. Of course, a resume is needed for applying for jobs, but we also use them to help people write us letters of recommendation. So when scholarship season really gets rolling here in the next month or two, you'll find many scholarships require at least one, possibly two, letters of recommendation. These can be written by individuals in the students' lives like teachers, coaches, pastors or priests or employers. Family members cannot write letters of recommendation, although they would be willing to, they can't. So I'm going to come into the civics and econ classes in the next couple of weeks and help students build a resume and then talk them through the process of how they request letters of recommendation. So you might want to ask them about that, and any follow-up steps I'm happy to help them with. Transcripts, that's another thing that will come up this year. Students applying to four-year colleges in particular will find their colleges asking for transcripts. Some private colleges or even public colleges for certain purposes will only ask for an unofficial transcript mid-year or sometime in the application process. And I can provide unofficial transcripts. This is Carrie Peterson talking. But if the student needs an official transcript, Mrs. Hale is the person they would reach out to do that. She's our school registrar. Last on this screen, military. We have a number of students that choose to enlist every year. I'm happy to help students connect with the branch they're most interested in learning more about or joining. We ordinarily offer ASVAB testing related to military admission. We are not able to offer it this fall. We're leaving our winter and spring or winter-ish spring date intact, and hopefully we can offer it then. But students interested in the military needing the ASVAB can always take it with a military representative. I'm happy to help them connect and make that happen. There's our turkey again, reminding us that when Thanksgiving rolls around, CSU and UC applications ideally have been submitted or are very close to being completed. So you see the deadlines, November 30th for UC applications, December 4th for CSU applications. And those are hard deadlines. There is no flexibility involved. So we say to students, if you've got an application to do, no turkey for you. Get that thing done. So as the college and career teacher here at Kingsburg High, a job that I really enjoy, I'm available to help students pursue whatever it is they want to pursue after they graduate. And if they're uncertain, which is totally understandable, I'm happy to help them try to figure out what their next step is. There's a number of ways that we do that. I schedule representative visits from all sorts of colleges, and this year I'm adding more career type workshops as well. For example, we're having a cosmetology slash barbering workshop with a couple local programs later this month. I also help students with applying to whatever it is they're applying to for their post-high school experience, financial aid application, and that whole follow-through process. I can help with that. I've been able to meet with students each year, their freshman, sophomore, and junior year through their English classes. And when they're with me, I cover a number of things in college and career curriculum, but we also take a number of aptitude assessments. And what I really like about this site where we do that here at californiacolleges.edu is the assessments that they take are followed up with their results, obviously, and then they link to careers that might be a good match based on their results. Like I tell kids, I don't think you're going to look through the list and find a dream job necessarily, but the more we know about our strengths and our interests and what careers are related to those, the smoother our transition to a career that we are happy about joining can be. So yeah, just figuring out where to go to college, what career pathway works for each student, obviously resumes, cover letters, writing essay applications, scholarship lists. We'll be making those available as we can complete a list to give some recommendations of scholarships students want to check out. We update our website. I update the college and career page frequently. The link is there. I encourage you, while it's impersonal, it is a good source for what's coming up next. The other place I frequently post updates is the bulletin. I utilize that. And thirdly, the class of 2021 Google Classroom, which I believe just about every senior has joined. Also, I try to provide parental information opportunities. So I offered one a couple of weeks ago. It was a 7:30 in the morning Zoom, and where we talked over coffee. Well, we did. Yes, I did. I had my coffee, and I had one parent join me, and we had a delightful chat. I'll probably be offering that again if there's interest. Parents, you are students' best advocates as they make this transition to adulthood. I just wanted to point out also that if a student or you should try calling into my Zoom session and can't get in, it's because I'm conducting a workshop, and so I'm not able to do both things at once. So just a heads up, I'm not ignoring anybody, I'm just helping somebody else. I mentioned that the best way to stay apprised of all that we're doing would be to check the bulletin, but I also am providing a link to a Google Sheet where I have compiled the different events that I've scheduled. But this is a live link, so it will be updated as I change dates, add dates, have to take things away if an opportunity isn't, we're not able to support it. But I encourage you to check out that Google Sheet to see what opportunities are coming up this fall. Financial aid. Now there's a big complicated world, isn't there? But boy, there's some good news in the world of financial aid. Everything begins with the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, which I mentioned opens October 1st, and the priority filing deadline ends March 2nd. But the sooner you can file it, the better. This application is used for so many purposes. It's utilized to determine if your student qualifies for grants and or loans. Work study would be another option that students are potentially eligible for if they fill out the FAFSA, and that California Community College, and I have it in quotes, first year free, because it is rolling out slightly differently at each community college. The FAFSA is the portal to all of those things. Additionally, we're noticing a lot of scholarships that make one of their eligibility requirements be that a student has completed the FAFSA. Apparently, a lot of federal student aid goes unawarded because people simply don't take the time to fill out the application. The Cal Grant, that's California's way of trying to assist students. What's nice is there's not a separate application for that. The FAFSA, when it is filed, generates a report to California Student Aid Commission, and students who are awarded a Cal Grant will receive a letter in the mail. Historically, I assume that's how they'll do it again this year. Pell Grant, that is the federal grant that's generated off of the FAFSA application. Work study, I mentioned, that is where students can work on campus and earn some of their tuition money that way. That's a great program because the colleges work around the students' hours of availability. GPA verification, you may know that for a Cal Grant, you have to have your GPA, or your student has to have their GPA verified, and our counseling and registrar staff will be taking care of that. An initial invitation or a save the date for Monday, October 19th. We're going to be holding a financial aid night via Zoom. I will be sending you an email invitation via Aries, just like you got the invitation to this senior information night. Scholarships are a big part of financial aid or paying for college, and they are varied. They begin, we could say, at the local level. We live in a very generous community that awards so many scholarships. Well over $300,000 was awarded last year just from local scholarship donors to our graduating Kingsburg seniors. So that local scholarship season begins in late February, early March. Just stay tuned. Those are mostly paper pencil applications. I'm happy to help with that application process if your student would like that help. Institutional scholarships, these are scholarships that are offered by colleges and universities. Generally, once a student has applied to the college, they are invited or allowed to apply for that college's scholarships. It's generally a one application, and students are considered for multiple scholarships. That, again, is an underused resource. I'm happy to help students access those, and I will be advertising them in our scholarship lists. At-large scholarships, there are a number of scholarships that are not associated with a local entity or a college. We will be advertising these again on some scholarship lists that students can access via the Class of 2021 Google Classroom. I just want to point out that the financial aid offices at colleges really are there to serve students, and they are the student's friend. So communication with the financial aid office is a normal part of the process when you hit spring and students are making their decision about where they're going to attend, especially this year, since COVID may have affected your family and changed your income over the last year. Communication with financial aid is going to be crucial, and it's expected on their end, but they need you to reach out to them to let them know what has changed from the information you submitted on your FAFSA. The CSS profile, that it works through College Board. Some elite colleges utilize this. It's like an advanced FAFSA. It's a little more in depth, but generally the colleges that require that have endowments that they need to give out by way of merit scholarships or other sorts of aid. And so don't worry about that unless the college your student applies to asks them to file the CSS profile. I'm happy to help with that process. We mentioned that many scholarships require letters of recommendation, and I will be helping students access those. And we're just pointing out here on the college and career site, we have a number of places to link to scholarships. So again, while not super personal, it is updated frequently, trying to get resources into your hands. Please check the bulletin on the home page frequently if you want to stay in the loop of what opportunities are available for your students.
Mrs. Peterson and I want to express our sincere appreciation to all seniors and their families who joined us this evening. We hope that our information has been clear and helpful. If you have a question, please contact us, or you can join us on Tuesday, September 22nd for a Zoom question and answer session beginning at 6 p.m. Thank you and take care.